Hello, hello. I'm Shayla Singleton with Heal Collaborative, and we are joined by a father and daughter here. They'll introduce themselves shortly, but during National Family Caregiver Month, it's always best to hear the stories of people that are going through it. We can learn about people's journeys online, but it's best just to have these one-on-one conversations. So Shann and Chelsea are so gracious to join us today to share this story. So just want to start by saying hello, you guys. How are you doing today?
Hi, Shayla.
Hi.
How are you?
Good to see you. Good to
I
see you.
like to say blessed by the best.
Blessed
That's
by the
how I'm
best.
doing. Blessed by the best.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Your journey has been just that. I know we'll jump right into it though. Shann has his health journey that he wants to share and really how he's showing one of his daughters, but he has another, but they also really helped him support him. So Shann, just start off by telling people, what story you want to share with us today.
Okay. Well, first, thanks for having me. I want to share my story of dealing with prostate cancer and how I dealt with it myself. I was originally uh, diagnosed with a high PSA level in about 2016. And at that time, I wasn't really educated on prostate cancer, but I did know it had something to do with quote unquote my manhood
Mhm.
at the time. So, me being who I was, I did a little investigating on it. And to digress a little bit, I retired from the airline, so I get to fly for free. So someone had told, and I was in Houston at the time, and someone had told me about a hospital in Ixtapa, Mexico. And me, I did a little research on it.
Chelsea shaking her head. Uh-huh.
And I took a trip to Ixtapa, Mexico. Keep in mind, I fly for free, so I can just jump on a plane, fly standby. It's standby, and I did it and went there and got there, and it wasn't really organized like I was expecting, and so I started like one procedure called like cryotherapy, and I kind of backed out when they told me some other things that I had to do, like dealing with a catheter and things like that.
Okay. Yeah.
And I kind of backed out of that. So keep in mind, Chelsea still didn't know that I had uh, a high PSA level,
Right.
and she wasn't aware of that or anything. So
Yeah,
short,
before we jump into Chelsea,
yeah,
but I want to just ask a question. So leading up to like your diagnosis, again, you said you didn't know too much about prostate cancer. So have you ever had like the conversation about your prostate health with your doctor beforehand, or you learned
no,
about it after diagnosis? And also, what made you want to get screened for it?
right. No, my internal medicine doctor
Hmm.
uh, had given me some blood tests, and I was dealing with kidneys. I had kidney stones,
Okay.
and that's how it was discovered about my high PSA level, dealing with kidney stones. That's how it was discovered,
Okay.
and from that point on, then we started to do more pre-work to find out if I actually had prostate cancer, pre-examinations, I should say.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
before you hop down to Mexico, did your doctor come up with a treatment plan for you, or that was addressed at a later time?
No, I hadn't. I just was told I had a high PSA level. No, my doctor hadn't done
Wow.
anything at that time. Right. It was just me, like, oh, I'm not going to let this mess with my manhood.
Yeah.
I got, I have to have relationships. I have to be moving and grooving.
Like,
Yeah,
not too much that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Just being
No,
honest, just being honest. Yeah,
yeah, no, I get it because I mean
mhm.
that's the part of your body that it affects.
Right,
So yeah, no, that
right,
is sends up an alert that you're gonna be
right.
concerned
But
about.
that didn't work. It didn't work for me, though. It didn't work going to Mexico. It didn't work for me. So I actually started to go the normal route, seeing a urologist,
Okay.
and then the urologist was Dr. Mercado was his name, or is his name.
Yeah.
And he was real good about everything. And I, like I said, I had the kidney stones first.
Yeah.
And that was really a real ordeal for us, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It really was, because mine got stuck in a certain area. Sometimes people pass kidney stones.
Yes.
It was one of the most painful things in my life, to be
Oh,
honest.
I've heard, yes.
And Chelsea was there with me, and Casey. They were there with me, and they had flew down from Atlanta and spent quite a bit of time with me to help me get through that period of time in my life, because my bladder had gotten big, and it really was tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was tough. It was pretty bad. Yeah, it was pretty bad. So after that came the prostate cancer, and
so you learned your diagnosis from there.
Right, exactly. That's how.
And then at that point, even though the girls came down to be with you, when did you disclose, or when did your dad disclose to you and your sister? When did you learn about it?
I learned about something like in when I was still living in Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
I think he told my mom, and then my mom told me, like, on accident or something.
Yeah.
So it was probably like 2018-ish that I found out.
And I had told her mom.
And they're divorced too. So
right.
My mom she was in Detroit with me, and then Daddy lived in Texas.
Okay.
And her mom was like, "You need to tell your kids, your girls."
Yeah.
And because I told her her mom that I didn't want to tell the girls.
Yeah.
I told her that. I said, I don't want to tell them. I don't want to tell them. I don't want them to
how to protect your children.
Yeah, exactly.
Thinking,
wasn't feeling that at all. She wasn't feeling that. So finally, what's the term? Happy wife, happy life. Well, happy ex-wife, happy life too.
Yeah. So, you're gonna tell these girls.
So yes, and me and her mom are great friends.
Yeah,
right? We're great friends too.
That's awesome.
So yeah, and her mom was like, "No, you got to tell them." So I did. I wound up telling them, and it was the best decision that I made in my life, was telling my kids. It was just so much stress relieved off of me, trying to carry that burden myself. And it really, not just trying to carry the burden myself, but trying to be a protector of my kids. But you have to realize that family is everything.
Wow.
And, you're in it, they're in it. And I wasn't taking that approach at first, but I'm so glad that their mom convinced me to sort of redirect my approach of how I was handling it.
Yeah, that's good. That's awesome. So like what what you learning about your dad, Chelsea, like what was like your state of mind? Like, I mean, were you just going right into like supportive mode, or were you scared, or like what was that like for you, like learning and then in the months ahead?
Yeah, I think at the time I was a little scared. And I was like 25 at the time. So I was a little bit younger, just didn't really know what to expect. But I also have a stepdad who had cancer. He had colon cancer like 10 years before that. So, and I helped him a lot too, like from a caregiver perspective. So a lot of things that I learned from that, like researching what foods to eat and everything, I was able to kind of remember.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think at first I was scared, but then we started talking about eating healthier and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know when we started the vegan thing, but now we eat 2 days a week. We do vegan food.
Oh, okay. That was
that was like around that time.
I do vegan food 2 days a week. She does a lot more than 2 days. She's got me up to 2 days a week. And actually on that third day, I try to do fish. So Mondays and Tuesdays is vegan, and Wednesdays is fish, but after that now.
Yeah.
Whatever after that. But I
want some ice cream.
Yes.
I knew that he had kidney stones already too.
Yeah.
And kidney stones we think came from calcium, but
Right.
we don't know if it's like fully true. But with that in mind, I was just thinking like, let's at least try to eliminate the ice cream.
The dairy of it.
And he loves ice cream. He eats like a pint a week.
I was then. Yeah, definitely.
You're a changed man now.
Yes. Now once a month.
Now
one weekend a month.
Okay, that's fair.
1 weekend a month. But I was eating ice cream every day. Yes. Talenti, Southern Butter Pecan.
Oh, yeah. Listen, you're calling it out.
Yeah.
They do have good stuff. Well, yeah. I mean, see, like bringing your family in from that, you just, again, you have that extra support to now like where, you decided to move forward with those vegan days and make those small changes that will impact your health well. And I forgot to ask you, like at the time of your diagnosis, what stage were you? Is it
stage 2? Well, it's two things. One, they go by what they call a Gleason score, and sometimes what's equivalent to a grade level. So a Gleason score is usually between 6 and 10. So my 6 being low and 7 being intermediate, my Gleason score was real closer to 7 than 6. So I was intermediate, and they have an equivalent now, what they call the grade score, which was grade 2. So which is equivalent to stage 2.
Okay.
Right, equivalent to stage 2. But it's sort of borderline between 1 and 2. And anything 8 or above is considered a high dose of cancer.
Yeah.
So I was sort of in that borderline stages between 1 and 2. Yeah.
Well, that's good. I mean, even though kidney stones are not pleasant at all, that just created, that was the gateway to the diagnosis, because
it was a blessing in disguise.
A blessing, because there, a lot of people do get that stage 4 diagnosis. And so I'm glad to hear that. So again, you're learning way more about prostate cancer after your diagnosis. So for men, we did a couple of prostate cancer programs this year. And time again, men said they're not good about going to the doctors, and usually, it's their kids or their significant other pushing them to go. So, how can you encourage men, especially, when it comes to their manhood, to not be afraid of that and to look into that? What advice do you have?
Yes. For me, I had to kind of swallow that false pride, and it was just so much better just not worrying about, quote unquote manhood, but being worried about my health, perspective, my life, right? Exactly. And my being around for my family, right? So I wouldn't say, recommend, but for my experience, it was just so much better, after that, for me, from a health perspective, not only physical, but mental, from a mental health perspective, knowing that I had the support of, my girls, and, as well as, the extended family, whether it's their mother, family around their mother, my sister, just having that extended family giving me support. I would strongly, for me, that worked, and I would strongly, recommend that, just having family around you, to try to go through it. Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. My sister, she also knew before my girls knew. She knew. Yeah. But the first person I told was their mother.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the first person I told. Before I told anyone, I told their mother.
Yeah. Well, that's good that you have the support to share it with. And so, like Chelsea, from like a caregiver perspective, especially, you know, when it's your dad, you know, stepping into that role. Just explaining what was that like for you, and you know, I know you did like the diet thing and health though, but did you help him did you help support him through like doctor's appointments or like other research, or find out other organizations or foundations or anything to help him? Like what was that like for you?
Yeah, I think there was like added complexity because he lived in a different state.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that makes caregiving remotely is interesting too, because you're trying to be there more so from like mental perspective or just being there for conversation. And then I think I didn't really come to Houston until it was an emergency.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we were talking about it and I was doing research and stuff. So not until the kidney stones somehow turned into the cancer diagnosis. Like
diagnosis,
it evolved really quickly from
Right.
like he was trying to pass kidney stones to cancer. So that's when I actually went to Houston and was with him in the hospital. And I would say that was when it really hit me that, you know, you have to step up and take care of your family. I would say my biggest role in the hospital was just being there for my dad, but then being like an advocate for him when he couldn't, because he was in so much pain that he couldn't really speak for himself all the time. And the nurses there are understaffed, so they have like 7 other people that they're checking on. And sometimes I feel like they just weren't, not that they didn't want to, but they didn't have like the capacity to really go deep.
That can be a little frustrating.
But she changed that though. She changed that. She got me put into to an area where there were just two patients to every nurse.
Yeah.
Right. Just patient to every nurse. She put her foot down. She did. I gotta give her that.
This is not gonna work. This is not gonna work.
Was her. Yep, that was her.
No, yeah. I really think if you're gonna be in a hospital long term, you have to have an advocate. Like there's no way that you'll come. I mean, there's ways, but it's very hard to come out successful if you don't have somebody else in there advocating for you, especially when you're in so much pain.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say that's one of the other ways I was able to step in. And then with the diet, and we went on walks too.
Right. Yeah, and that really helped. That really helped. When we first started, I could just walk maybe a quarter mile. You know, and we would go to the park, and Chelsea would we would walk in the park. We was just together, but I couldn't walk far at the time, and so we got more and more. We started walking further and further, and I started getting more confident, you know, in myself, and I knew then too I was going to have radiation.
Yeah.
For the cancer. So I wanted to be as strong as possible. Also, you know, before that came. So I really believe that helped a lot. And that helped a lot.
Getting outside. Because they don't really let you walk around at the hospital.
Right.
If you do, you can like walk around the floor.
Yeah.
But that's it. Even walking around the floor was a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot. Yeah, that was
at first.
Yeah. But yeah, we started walking in the park, and I think November of 2019 was when I had my first radiation treatment.
Okay.
And I wound up having 44. I know it ended January 17th of November.
Okay.
Of 2020.
That took us into the pandemic.
Yeah, January 17th of 2020. Right. It started November of 2019, ended January 17, 2020 with my last radiation treatment. It was 44 treatments. And that was a challenge within itself. You know, I began to.
And he did that by himself. We weren't.
Yeah, I did. Right. But they were there, you know, supporting me, and I would send them pictures and stuff like that. But the radiation isn't painful.
Yeah.
At all. It's not painful at all. It's just the side effects after the radiation. And a lot of it's mental. I lost all the hair off my legs, that type of stuff.
You didn't lose hair on your head.
I didn't lose the hair on my head though.
Yeah.
But lost the hair off my legs. Now, one thing I will say,
Yeah.
and hopefully, this is okay to say, there's a thing before the radiation, there's something called a space OAR, which really worked for me. And what that does is the radiation is centralized to the exact place where the cancer is on the prostate. The prostate is connected to the rectum. So they give you have the option. You don't have to take it, but I took it. It's called a space OAR, which is a hydrogel that separates the prostate from the rectum. So that radiation won't get to the rectum while they're doing it on the prostate.
Target.
So just look into that for anyone that does have prostate cancer. Hopefully at least check that option out, and will or will not work for someone else. But I thought it was a really good option because that radiation does not, it separates the rectum far enough where those beams radiation don't hit it. So that worked for me.
It worked for you. Thank you so much for sharing that. And that's, that's important. You always have options. Like even, the doctors are going to do their best to tell you, but there, might be something that they're not sure that will work for you, or they might slip their mind and might forget to tell you. But, do your research and find out, your options, what will work best for you. Definitely. But yeah, that's amazing how you're saying you guys were going out walking, because I think you told me this morning, would you guys run like 3 miles? How many?
Yeah, now we're running.
Now you're running.
We just did the 5K for New Life Church like a month ago together, and we're gonna do a 10K next year.
Listen,
it all started from us.
Yes,
walking.
all started with her. Yeah, getting me outside. Walking, and she was actually, she had to walk with me and like hold me while I was walking, like this, right. So God is good.
Did a 5K and preparing for a 10K.
Yeah, preparing for a 10K. That's our goal to do the Peachtree Road Race. Peachtree Road Race. Yeah, that's our goal to do that, and I'll be 60 and she'll be 30 in about a month.
Okay, wow. So you both have
that was our goal, to do it while I'm 60 and she's 30, to do do the 10K.
I love it.
But I definitely couldn't have done it without the help of my daughters. There's no way. Right. And the support of family.
That was the other thing for caregivers. Like if you have a sibling, definitely call in the sibling for backup in case things get, because it did get intense at one point.
Yes.
And I was just by myself. But if you have, other caregivers who can come in, like you can switch off, take shifts, stuff like that. That helped a lot. Oh gosh.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because caregivers need care. You do, because they know, it's your family, it's your loved one. You want to spring right into action and, what needs to be done today, or making sure, you're in contact with them and have their spirits lifted up, and on top of taking care of them. So then you realize like, oh, that I haven't slept. Did I eat today? Just things like that.
Yes, definitely.
So if you have like a sibling, you can share that responsibility with your community, local churches, whatever that looks like.
Yeah. And we passed off notes, like I was taking notes in the hospital. Good. Then I had like a transition doc for Casey.
Listen, you guys had a system.
Yeah, she did. She
notes.
did. Yeah, they had a system.
Listen, you had like a top tier caregiver over there. So that's awesome. That's awesome. I know that has to feel good as a dad to see your girls like
it really did.
And really own that space.
Yes, it really did. And you saw the difference in your kids as well too. They both have their strong points. Like Chelsea couldn't deal with me in pain, but Chelsea was the person that would go to the nurses and say, hey, we got to do more, than this. This 6 nurses, I mean, these 6 patients to 1 nurse isn't going to work. She did that part. Whereas my youngest daughter could deal with the pain more. She would massage my legs and stuff like that, So it was a team effort. I must admit it was a team effort. But I was cramping up a lot in the hospital.
Okay.
I mean, the cramps were just unbelievable. I never had cramps like that before in my life.
Wow.
And my youngest daughter was there, with the cramps, and Chelsea couldn't handle seeing me in pain. She couldn't handle that. She couldn't. So I got to learn, how their strong points during that time as well. Yeah.
Awesome. That's awesome. That's all right. I know we're coming close to the end of our time, but I really appreciate this conversation with you. And hopefully, if you're watching, that this really helps you and encourages you to go get screened. Early detection makes all the difference. It really does. And nothing to be ashamed or embarrassed about. We know where the prostate's located at, and the doctors, they do this every day, all day. Just get the care that you need and tell your family, your friends, or people that you trust, because it makes a difference to have that support.
It really does. It really does. And I just want to interject that now I just get checked. When I first got out, I was getting checked every month. And they pushed it back every 2 months. And now I only get checked every 6 months. So it's definitely doing better. And I fly to Houston. Matter of fact, I fly to Houston November 17th for my 6-month checkup.
Okay.
Right. Yes. So it's definitely getting better.
Well, good. I'm glad that it's going well. I'm wishing you continued health. And you have 2 precious daughters that I know they got their daddy's back for sure. If you didn't know, now you know now.
I do. You're right. I know. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Hopefully this can benefit anyone in any way, even if it's the least little thing. Any way it can benefit is a blessing.
Absolutely. Share this with your loved ones and come back and watch it. It'll be up on our YouTube channel later. But thank you all, Shann and Chelsea.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right.